You know, communications isn't all about talking on the air. A whole lot of times it's about listening and being able to tune into your local broadcast stations during an emergency, or the national emergency system when there's an emergency, when they break in, is definitely something you want the ability to have during an emergency. And you will find, even if you become a ham radio operator or delve into GMRS or whatever, that you're doing a whole lot more listening than talking. So today we're taking a look at two new offerings from Raddy. We have the Raddy SW10 and the Raddy SL10. And I'm going to tell you why I'm a little more partial to this radio, but I think you can tell. Let's check them out. All right, folks, welcome back. So when I just said in the opening, I was kind of more partial to this. I just like the looks of it better and it has some interesting features. And we're going to get into that one in a second, but I'm going to cover this one first. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way so we can actually really kind of take a look at it and get into it and show you what it's all about. Like I said before, having an emergency radio that runs on a bunch of different charging methods is really handy during a disaster. I can't count the number of people that I've seen use these in news footage, these types of radios, when there's a disaster going on. Maybe they're in their living room, huddled around one, listening for updates, whatever. They're very, very handy. And after 9/11, we had the National Emergency Alert System, you know, that thing that cuts in with that annoying tone, upgraded so that it can provide real-time emergency information. It can take over your radio and completely become your source of information. So I find that having the NOAA bands is very handy, as well as AM and FM radio. You don't always need to be talking on the air to be doing communications. Sometimes it's all about listening. So today we're taking a look at the Raddy SW10 here. This has massive power storage. If you've used these radios before, you know this power storage in them is kind of abysmal, maybe 1,000 milliamp hours, maybe 5. This one has a full 10,000 milliamp hours in a battery, and it does have ways to charge your devices, your smartphone, tablet, whatever, which can be really handy during an emergency as well. On the side here, you will notice all the ports. It also has 3 charging methods. I meant to close that. So you charge it via the solar panel. Now that's a very small solar panel. It's going to take a while. I suggest using solar panels like this to keep things topped off. Maybe you keep this in a window, and maybe you tilt it upwards. Now when you tilt this up, the light will come on. Maybe you tilt it up like that or whatever to get some sunlight on it, or you just tilt the radio in the window. And that way when you need it, it's fully topped off. Of course, you can charge it on the side via the USB-C plug. And here's the cool part. It has a crank. I like crank radios. Some people will say they're kind of outdated or archaic and we don't need them anymore, but I still say I like crank radios because you could be using this bugged out in the woods somewhere at night with no way to charge it via solar, with no power, and sit there and crank your radio and get your updates. So it is very handy, and this is the main on and off switch for the whole rig. You do have a strap on top that comes with a compass that actually seems to be working, because east is that way. If you watched my videos before, you've seen me test compasses, and it does seem to be doing its job. You have the interface on the front. You have an SOS. When you push that, the whole thing will go off. I don't know if I have it turned on. There we go. Let's see. There we go. You do have a weather band alert feature on this. So when the weather band is on, like it is now, I can switch that to alert, and I don't have to hear the weather band. It's not going to come in that well right now because I don't have the antenna extended. But there we go. Now our weather band out here is occasionally kind of funky, and it is summer, it's hot, and the propagation isn't that great. But when the alert comes over, I can put it like that, and it'll just turn on automatically when there's an alert broadcast on the weather band. Our weather band here is one. Again, I just had it a few minutes ago and I could hear it clear as day. Now I put it on video and it won't work. So you know how that goes. Anyway, it does have good AM and FM reception on it. I was actually kind of interested to see the AM, so I had to film the AM at night because, as you know, we have no AM stations locally here in where I live in Nevada. We do used to have one that came out of Vegas and had 50,000 watts, so it was able to come out here fairly clearly in the daytime, depending on conditions, but at night it was booming in, clear as day. We don't have that anymore, so I have to wait till nighttime when band conditions improve on the AM radio band and I can actually listen. So I did shoot the AM part at night, and we'll tune into that in a second. Okay, but it does have your dual USB outputs on it, which I really like. You can charge 2 things at once. The cool part is, if the battery inside of here is dead, you can still charge with the crank. It is independent, so if the battery's not charging, the crank will charge your devices. Now, that's a whole lot of work, but it's better than no power at all. Okay? Now, it does have a little 3.5 millimeter earphone jack for private listening. That's kind of handy, you know, when you're in a situation where you don't want to disturb others. Maybe you're bugged out with your family and your whole family is sleeping, and you want to listen into what's going on in the world, you know, during a disaster or emergency. You can do that and have that there. So, I want to show you the light really quick. It does have a front-facing light, and you'll have your low, your high, and your all 3 beams together. So, it does have that there. You do have that alert feature. What we're going to do first is test out the AM on this. Now, the AM reception on this was kind of spotty. I did it earlier in the evening, whereas the other one I did later in the evening, and it sounds like it's incredible. So, let's check it out and see what it sounds like. All right, found a better station here. This is sports radio out of, I believe it's San Francisco as well. Turn down the volume a little bit here. They're definitely doing a good job on AM. Let's test them out on the other bands. All right, so not so bad. Again, where I'm testing it out, I got a lot of interference. I have my lights on in here. I have my solar stuff going. If you live in an area with a decent AM reception, and even though the AM band is kind of dying a little bit, it's still a very important band for emergency listening, and I think you'll hear it a whole lot better. We did pretty well with it, though, for what it is. So, what we're going to do is actually try and listen to that weather band. I'm going to see if it sounds any better on now. Moving around a little bit. There we go. They're telling us about our heat wave. So not super great, you know, for weather band, but then again, the weather station out here is kind of far away, and it can be iffy at times. Sometimes you'll hear it very clearly, and sometimes you won't. I'm going to try FM on it. Let me move it to FM. Now, I do have it on a talk station. It is KNPR. Sorry. It's the only talk station that comes in here really clear. I don't want to get any copyright strikes, so we'll just listen to that.
Mark Tallman of Sorrento, Florida, was never confident in his appearance.
So you see, it actually does work pretty well. Now, if I turn around quickly, get a little classical music there.
Russia's billionaires. If so, who?
So you can definitely see it has a really nice FM reception, and the AM reception is a little better than what I showed you in the video. I did try it the night before, and I didn't get it on video, but it actually isn't as bad. It's just AM out here is so just pure luck to catch. So what we're going to do is move on to the next one, and that is the one that's kind of my favorite, and that is the SL10. Now, this guy here is pretty much an all-in-one tool, all right? The Raddy SL10 is a camping lantern, emergency radio, Bluetooth speaker, power bank, and it's all in one sleek package. It has IPX6 rating, very durable materials, does feel like it's very well made, and it's perfect for any kind of emergency situation or even a camping trip. The battery capacity on this is the same again, 10,000 milliamp hours, so you get 25 hours of light, 100 hours of radio playtime, and in case of a power outage, you can charge it either the solar panel, and it is a bigger solar panel. I don't know if you can see the little red battery. That means it's charging. So even in studio lights here, it's charging up. And you do have, of course, your hand crank on the back. Just as easy to operate. You'll pop it out and crank it. Okay. So you'll get a nice full battery using that too as well. It's going to take a little bit of work, but it's worth it. But here's the coolest feature of this. This is where all your radio stuff takes place. But check this out. So you got yourself a lantern. That's why I like this. I kind of feel it has a bunch of different uses, and it's more of a form factor that I like. I like the straightforward kind of sleek form factor. The audio on this is very nice. It does have dual speakers on either side. Okay. You do have, again, the power bank, which is possible for you to charge up devices. You only have one output on this one, and you do have your USB-C. So the same 3 ways to charge. Over here on the corner, it took me a while to find this, is your antenna. We're going to pull that out, and I'm going to show you, because the first time I looked at this thing, I was like, what the heck? How does that work? But it does come right out on the side. So you have that nice little antenna coming off on the side, or you can put it sideways and do it straight up. What we're going to try first is the AM on this, and the AM on this was really impressive. Again, the same station, just a little bit different. I tried different stations to try them out, different areas, but pretty darn impressive. So let's check the AM reception out.
2020. Kelly remains out of
I wanted to show you quickly the AM reception. This is AM 740 out of San Francisco.
Truckers and union workers on Friday held a protest.
And this guy's pulling it in really, really well. We're over here on a radio table. I wanted to do this at night because that's when we get the best reception. All right, let's try the other one and see what we can pick up. Again, weather band is really not coming in well. It's not the fault of the radio. So you can hear it. Okay, it's just not coming in great at the moment. You do have your choice of weather bands. You can scroll through up or down, say different weather channels. So you can scroll through. Let's hit the M button here for the mode. This is Bluetooth, so I can connect my phone to this and stream if I want. This is your FM. Okay, FM, really nice sound because it is stereo. You do have an equalizer on this. Okay. So you can change the equalizations to whatever you want. You can fast forward or pause. There's your power equalization 1. Okay, that's your station. It does do scan. So if I want to go to 88, let's see, 88.9. Let's see. There, see? So it will auto scan through the stations. Definitely a nice little radio. Let's turn off the sound. And I want to show you that this not only has that, but it also has a very powerful flashlight on it. Actually pretty respectable. I do want you folks to know, be careful with this. You got to give it a good shove down. It was really weird. When I got this radio, I'm like, where's the antenna? Because that looked like a little screw to me. It didn't look like an antenna. So that's the antenna on it. Now for the radio, for the light. You got that light there, your SOS, and you can go all the way on it like that. And your SOS button is over here. So let's hold that. That's noisy. Definitely get attention though. So you do have your nice, decent lighting. The light is just 2 modes. It's got an on and then a flashing. Okay, so definitely a cool little radio. I really do like it. Now I'm going to give you a little information on it. It does have an 8-button design there, so you can. It's a breeze to operate. You can just scroll through everything. You have bright LED screen there, as you saw, and we'll give you a signal report down at the bottom, tell you how strong the signal is coming in. Definitely a handy little radio and a little more versatile than say a regular little AM/FM radio. You do have the ability to charge things with it, which I think is perfect. All right, you do have a 360-degree lighting with this, which is also nice as well. Again, with this one, you only have that one little light, and this one you have the whole 360, but this isn't a lantern. This is just an emergency radio. You have to remember that. I'm comparing apples to oranges here. I like the auto scan feature. That is very handy. I like the ability to listen to the NOAA weather broadcast, even though right now, I tried it on my my handheld and on my other, base mounted ham radio tuned in the frequency. It's not coming in good. I'm not sure if it got damaged by a storm or whatever, but as you can tell, the reception on these is pretty darn decent. You saw the AM on this at night and the AM on this at night, and I probably could have messed around and found a better station on this one, but it still came in, and that's important because when you're listening, you got to get news source from anywhere you can get it. So the 2 are there. I do have a 10% code off for you guys. It's summer 23. That will be down below, and I have the 2 links to the SW10 and the SL10. The SW meaning weather, and the SWL meaning lantern. So you will be able to check these 2 out and see if there's anything that I missed telling you about. But I'm really impressed with them, honestly. Emergency radios have come a long way, and it's kind of a concept near and dear to my heart because the very first thing I ever bought preparedness-wise was an emergency wind-up radio. I still have it. I'll probably never sell it. It's old. You've probably seen them. It's, from the mid-90s. It's the first thing I ever bought preparedness-wise was an emergency crank-up AM/FM radio. And I kept it. It still works, amazingly enough. I kept it, and I thought it was just so cool because I could crank it and listen to it, or I could put batteries in it. It didn't recharge back then. So I'm impressed with the 2. I think they're a pretty good deal. You can check them out on the website. This one here is, I forget the price. This one's $59.99. The other one, I believe, is a little bit less expensive. You can check it out at the link, but I'm loving the lantern on this one. But that would make a perfectly, I wouldn't feel undermanned with something like that either. So Definitely cool little deal. So check them out down below. Links will be there for you. I'll have my Amazon affiliate store as well. If you guys want to shop on Amazon, just click my link and then shop as you normally would. In my store, I have a bunch of stuff in there that I use in the channel regularly or I have reviewed. Don't forget our freeze-dried wholesaler link. That link down below will save you 15%. My link will save you anything on the site you want. You can save 15% on. You click the link, you go there, you add stuff to your cart, you get to the checkout, you'll see Iridium 242 discount of 15%. My Patriot Supply link, we got a deal there for a 4-week food kit, 4 weeks worth of food for $80 off, under $200. I'm sorry, under $200 for 4 weeks worth of food. 2,000 calories a day, 16 varieties, 25-year shelf life. You got 2 rugged buckets, 38 pounds of dehydrated and freeze-dried food for you. Very easy way to get set up on your storage. And our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store. Don't forget Thrive, folks. It's really good, clean food. There's nothing to buy. If you want to try the food, you can go there and purchase it. When you become a subscription customer, or a delivery customer, I should say, or you become a consultant where you actually resell it, you get some discounts, but there's nothing to buy to begin with. You can try out the food anytime you want. I thank you guys for joining me today on this little radio review. Stay safe and stay prepared.